It's Monday, it's November 18, 2024, an historic day here actually in West Coast Radio Sports File. Yes, historic because we've gone live. Hooray! Yes, hooray, because we've been actually advocating for West Coast Radio Sports File to go live actually on YouTube. And here we are today, history is made. But another history also is made because the GNOC election is on November 23rd. And guess what? We have the two presidential aspirants with us here in the studio to show that sports is about unity, peace, and love, in as much as actually you have people vying for various offices. Well, the Gambia crashed out of the 2026 African Cup of Nations qualifiers. As we speak, they're actually leading Tunisia by a goal to nil. Whatever the outcome, we cannot actually go through to the next AFCON in Morocco. What next? The technicians will tell us more, and one of them is right here with us in the studio. The Sports Journalists Association actually had their first ever General Congress this past Saturday. The president will be with us to tell us more about how it happened and what is in store out there for sports journalists, as well as the way forward for sports development in this country. Serekunda East, moving from definitely being one of the zones that attracts a lot of fan base to investing in sports infrastructure. How are they doing it? We'll get to know from the president and his executive. These and actually many more tonight on West Coast Radio Sports File coming your way. Stay tuned. Monday, November 18, 2024. My brother from another mother is here. And of course, as I said earlier, our technician in the studio, Jesper, should not forget about the assignment he had in Senegal this time around. It's Monday, it's November 18, 2024, an historic day, knowing that our program is jam-packed tonight. I'll start with our presidential aspirants for the GNOC, of course, headship. Elections is this coming Saturday, and hopefully by 5 p.m. to 6, we'll get to know who is the next person to replace the first ever president of the NOC, female president in Beatrice Allen. First, let me welcome my guest in the studio. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Buzenti. Good evening also to all the colleagues here in the studio. And I would also say good evening to the listeners on West Coast Radio Sports File. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who are you and which team do you represent?
I'm Baidudu Jallow, and of course, Team Baidudu is the one that I represent, presidential candidate for the GNOC, for the upcoming GNOC elections.
Thank you very much. We'll move to my right. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Vicente. Good evening, Mr. Jallow, Baidudu. Good evening, the listeners of West Coast Radio. I'm Mohamed Jagana. I'm representing Team Yokandam. We believe that our nation is at a pivotal moment in its sporting history, and together we have an opportunity to transform our athletic landscape to inspire youth and elevate the Gambia's presence at the global stage. That's why we are here today.
Thank you very much. And here at West Coast Radio, we believe in holistic and sustainable sports development. And we are glad to have both of you in the studio to tell the Gambia what you have for the athletes and the country. And win or not, we would love to see all those, the various teams coming together to move the country's sports forward, especially bearing in mind the Olympic goals. I'll start with Mr. Baidudu Jallow. Team Baidudu. What do you have in store for the Gambian athletes and Gambian sports when you actually come November 23rd more or less get the votes needed to occupy that office.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vicente. I will again say hi to my fellow presidential aspirant, Mr. Mohamed Jagana, welcoming him to this program. I first of all have to thank you, especially the team here at West Coast Radio, for organizing such a very positive program. I think this is very good for our sports. This is what we want. Really, we should have politics of ideas,
exactly,
and not politics of sentiments and personalities.
Thank you.
I'm really happy to be here this evening, to be part of this. This is for me historic.
That's
I think when we come to the elections of the GNOC, to have two presidential candidates sitting and talking to the public. Of course, yes, the team Baidudu, you know, we are coming up with the new direction for the GNOC, and then we have a motto of supporting all national federations. But really, it's a very solid team, and we have put up a very good manifesto which has 10 pillars, and these 10 pillars really are very much encompassing. They look at all the various aspects of the National Olympic Committee, and really when we come into office, this is what we want to focus on. I mean, this is the contract that we are putting forward to the electorate, who are the national sporting associations. And of course, in this manifesto with 10 pillars, I will start with some of the important pillars. All the pillars are very, very important, but I will start with one. Number one, in our manifesto, we have governance, good governance at the NOC. Really, this is a very important pillar for us, and coming in to take a new direction, this is key, because we have seen especially over the last year or so, some issues of governance coming out at the NOC, and this shows that there are some problem with respect to good governance, both at the level of the NOC. But our pillar is not only focusing on the NOC, but focusing also on the national federations that form the membership of the NOC. Because really we want good governance to filter from the national federations and go up to the National Olympic Committee itself.
Okay, and the next point?
Yes, and the next point, we are looking at revenue generation. We are looking at supporting national federations and revenue generation. This is also a very important pillar. Really very important pillar, because we know national federations in this country struggling seriously when it comes to finance, but not only finance, when it comes to technical support also. You know, some of them need, you know, they don't have the right officials to support their athletes and develop their athletes to the level that the athletes can compete internationally and bring us glory. So they have so many challenges, from financial to human resource challenges. So these are things that we are going to look at in our second pillar and really try to make sure that we support the national federations in terms of course, looking at opportunities that are within the National Olympic Committee, especially opportunities at Olympic solidarity, but we are also going to look at opportunities in country and also in collaboration with government to make sure we generate income, you know, and help national federations, national associations with respect to their national programs. We would also task these national federations. We would like have targets with them, where we work towards reaching those targets, where we expect them to organize national activities, you know, that will be supported, and we'll work with them. For some of them, you know, we would try to see how the secretariat at the NOC will help them really in accessing resources, especially financial resources, through having some very good proposals that can be, you know, that can be marketed and that can be, you know, we can sell this to many institutions, both public and private in this country, to come into sports. So this is a very important pillar. And then we have pillar 3, which is to promote diversity, inclusivity, and women in sports. It's also a very important pillar. If you look at sports, sports really is one area where we can really bring our society together. You know, and we will have programs that will be as inclusive as possible. Okay, and we will also promote women in sports deliberately in this pillar. We've seen, you know, the potential for our women athletes. We've seen the potentials women have in terms of administration, in terms of many other activities in sports, and really we would promote women playing important roles in the various activities in sports in this country. And at the level of the NOC, of course, we will really try to look at the quota, the IOC, you know, recommendation for national Olympic committees to come up with gender quota of up to 30% at least in their structures. And when we set up our structures like our commissions, and when we are having delegations and so on, we will really see how we factor in the participation of women. We will also look at the people with disabilities and disability sports, and how do we involve, how do we promote disability sports and support associations that are dealing with these people. So this also is a very important pillar. And yes, so pillar 4 promote community service and the IOC sustainability program. Also a very important pillar. Really, sports is supposed to be given back. Sports personalities are supposed to give back to society. You know, they're supposed to integrate some of the successes they have. They can use them to help society. So really, we are going to encourage community service through sports, but also we are going to leverage on the IOC sustainability program. IOC have a very good program for environmental sustainability. This is something that we will leverage on, and we would come here, we would encourage the planting of trees in schools and in sporting facilities and areas, and even in communities, to make sure that the environment that we have is sustainable. Yes. So, and then we have pillar 5, which is to promote sports safeguarding and ethical behavior. This is also a pillar that is very important. Safeguarding the people who are working in sports, especially people who are vulnerable. You know, sometimes our minds come to ladies, but not only ladies, there are also other people who might be vulnerable in sports. So really, we will, the administrations that I'm going to lead will ensure that we have very good code of conducts. We would have documents to guide actions in terms of what people are supposed to do and what people are not supposed to do. And this will cover up to the level of when we have delegations going out to represent us. And really, we would want to bring in the issue of ethics, the issue of behavior, and making sure that people, especially those that are vulnerable, are protected as they participate, as they take part in sporting activities. So that's number 5. And then number 6, if you allow me to continue.
Well, just give us your points.
Yes.
When you're done, we'll go to Mr. Jagana as well.
Okay. Yes. Pillar 6, we are looking at partnerships with stakeholders and the government. This is also something that we are going to strengthen. We are going to take really a new dimension with respect to the relationship between the NOC and the government and other partners in the country. I think this is a very important pillar for us, because the NOC sort of has been isolated somehow from some of these institutions. If you look at the level of collaboration and cooperation of the NOC with some other institution, both government and non-government in the country, I think this can be strengthened. So this is something that this pillar is going to look at, and we can build strong partnerships with a lot of institutions in the country. I was just talking of the environment, and here the NOC can build a very good partnership with the National Environmental Agency and of course the Ministry of the Environment Ministry. And these kind of partnerships can go a long way. We can look at partnership. We know how sports promote health, and you know, you can really collaborate with the government, the Ministry of Health, but you can even by extension collaborate with UN agencies that have interventions in health, in the health sector, to really, you know, look at sports, how sports really enhances health, and so on and so forth. So we will work on partnerships and building strong collaborations with the government, and for the government really, I think the two institutions, which is the GNOC, the National Olympic Committee, and the government, really have to work more closely This is our perception, and really when we come in, we would engage government more and in a more transparent way to make sure that we support each other. Where the NOC can support, they will support government, and where they need government support, they will also easily call on government support to come in. So that's a very important pillar, pillar 6. And pillar 7 is focusing on strategies leading to international sporting success. So you can see now really with all this work, we now start to begin to look at how we help our athletes to succeed. And really here, we are going to focus on so many aspects. We are going to look at the national level and look at the international level. And how do we leverage the opportunities that this country has to ensure that we have sporting success. You have some Gambians who are outside, but you have a lot more of Gambians within. So we will put a lot of emphasis here. We will really work with the national federations who are the members who have the athletes, to make sure that they have national championships, very strong ones, very competitive ones. And from this national championship, you can build athletes. You can also build, of course, the officials, the coaches, and so on. So we will do a lot of things. We would support coaches. We would support training programs to strengthen the coaches and the administrators to make sure this is a reality. And we can achieve this. And advance Olympism core values and principles. The principles of Olympism. We know how important these principles are and these values are to society, all over. So sports also is a vehicle through which you can mold human beings, you can mold people. When people are participating in sports, they are supposed to also be subject to certain behaviors that will bring them up and make them better people. So these are things that we are going to encourage. We are going to make sure that some of the activities that we are going to do are going to be based on some of these principles and values, so that wherever we go, we represent these values and principles of the ISU. And supporting and advancing athletes' careers, of course. We are not only going to focus on athletes playing football or volleyball or basketball, but we will really have activities that also will help the career of these athletes, so that at the end, even if they retire from sports, they have something else to do.
That's right.
Yes.
Is that all?
Of course, then we have the coaching, administration, and technical officials, professional development.
Thank you.
This is the last pillar. But you can see how an important pillar also it is, because this is a pillar where we would deliberately really get opportunities for coaches, Gambian coaches in various sports, to really go outside, build their capacities, bring them back. But this is where also we'll support administrators and so on and so forth. So you can see that the manifesto is almost touching everything that have to do with the NOC. And this is something that we have sat down, we have looked at, and we have really crafted after really diagnosing the issues and the problems in our National Olympic Committee.
Thank you very much, Baidudu Jallow of Team Baidudu, for giving us your 10 points agenda. Well, it's lofty, it's good, it's on paper. The implementation will come to that. And that means you have to tell us who your team members are to take these ideals into action. I now come to, of course, Team Yokandam. Wow. Ndambi Mungfa Nyuko Yoka. My boss.
Well, first of all, I have to thank Mr. Baidudu and Team Baidu for plagiarizing and copying some of our manifesto items. It shows how well they have read. Because, honestly, we launched our manifesto 3 weeks ago.
Right.
And we have 5 priorities. Each priority has a vision statement along it.
Right.
Our first priority is strong governance, better sports. And the vision statement there is to establish a governance framework that supports ethical practices, operational efficiency, and merit-based approach to sports administration in the Gambia. The objective for strong governance, better sports is to implement a comprehensive training for GNOC, national associations and federations and board members on ethical leadership. We know today some of our associations are run like, I don't know what, by 1 or 2 people. That is not good governance, and we have to address that. If we really want our athletes in these associations to prosper and be better off, we have to look at the leadership of the associations. Create a transparent merit-based selection process for athletes and officials involving community input. Conduct regular audits and a compliance review. Publicly reported findings to enhance accountability. When I was president of the Chamber of Commerce, we used to have what we call Meet the Press.
Right.
As president of GNOC, I'll make sure every year we organize a Meet the Press session, whereby each association, they have to come voluntary, it's not compulsory.
Right.
Would have to come and meet the press and explain to the press what your agenda was, what have you achieved, what the challenges you have and where you fail.
Activity
and
report.
I think this one would also help the general public understand what is happening within the associations. To support national associations and federations to develop and implement strategic plans for the quadrennial. The quadrennial starts from 1st of January to the next Olympics. We want to make sure all associations have a plan for the quadrennial. This way, it would help the GNOC and the associations develop our athletes to meet our goal. Our second priority is our women, our strength. The vision around us is to empower and elevate Gambian women in sports by providing essential opportunities and resources necessary for their success at both national and international level. From the grassroots to the classroom to the boardroom. We believe in this so much that we have selected a woman, Fatim Baji, to be our Secretary General. In the executive of Team Yokandam, the key 5 most important posts, a woman sits there as part of the decision making. So that shows how strongly we believe in priority 2, where we say our women, our strength. We want to launch targeted outreach programs in schools and communities to encourage women participation. We want to forge strategic collaboration with local and international women's sports organizations to strengthen the Gambia's involvement of women in sports. Today, all the national sports associations in the Gambia, none of them have a woman leadership. That's a reality that we have to check. If we want to say that our women are part of our team, our women are part of our priorities, how come we have no woman leadership in any of the associations? And so equal access to resources and facilities for female athletes. It's a challenge that we want to solve. Our third priority is Heritage Gambia. The vision statement for that is to bridge the gap between the Gambian diaspora and home by engaging Gambian heritage athletes abroad to foster contribution to Gambia's sports achievement and cultural unity. We saw during the last Olympics, Gambia took 7 athletes to the Olympics. At least 3 or 4 of them have Gambian heritage or based out of the Gambia, including Fanjai, Ami Baro, and Sanu Jallow. What are the objectives of Heritage Gambia? Establish a centralized platform to connect diasporic athletes with local teams and training opportunities. It's going to be online. We're going to use digital tools that would attract Gambians all over the world to be able to participate. We hope that all the associations would provide us what they need so that when we upload it there, we can get talent acquisition using the latest technologies that are available. We want to develop programs with diaspora athletes to serve as cultural ambassadors. We already started reaching out to some Gambians outside, and they're so much interested because the opportunity is there. They have high performance centers. They have opportunities to do well and represent the Gambian flag. We saw what happened with South Sudan and the US. The US won the game by points, but the heart of the game was played by the South Sudanese. And most of those people have South Sudanese heritage. The game with France, the same thing. And that is what we want to bring in Gambia, for Gambians to be represented by Gambians, regardless of where they are born. Host annual cultural exchanges that will celebrate Gambian heritage and unite diaspora and local athletes as part of our Heritage Gambia. Our fourth priority is Fund the Dream. The vision statement for that is secure, sustainable funding sources to support elite athletes and guarantee the Gambia's success in international competition. I mean, today, everybody has a dream, but it doesn't come cheaply. Whether you want to be a sports doctor, or you want to be a sports therapist, or you want to be an athlete, we want to see how, through partnership locally, internationally, and with the government, we can help fund the dream. And the whole idea of priority 4 is fund the dream goal for Gambia. Our objective is to formulate a comprehensive financial strategy outlining partnership opportunities with corporate sponsors and international grants. That is why we targeted Mas Manjang, who is the CFO of EcoBank, one of the most competent CFOs in the country, to be our treasurer. We don't want to bring anybody. We just want to make sure professionals are in our team. So today, if volleyball needs to do a project document, the GNOC will help them. If handball wants to do a project document, the GNOC will help them, because we have competent professional accountant that who specializes in finance and knows how to develop strategy and knows how to deliver to help associations achieve their goals. We want to establish an athlete fund to provide scholarships and training support and financial advising. We call this the Gambia National Olympic Committee, but to me it feels like the Greater Banjul Olympic Committee.
Wow.
So we want to establish this athlete fund that would allow people in rural areas, athletes in rural areas, to see how we can support them, because some of them, they're so needy and challenging that they cannot even make athletics their priority.
Very true.
So we want to develop the athlete fund. We hope that with the support of the private sector, with the government and the Gambian community, both locally and abroad, we can establish an athlete fund that would support athletes all over the country who might have talent, so that we can nourish that talent. Gambia got known for Gina Bass.
Yes.
Gina Bass did not grow up in the Greater Banjul area.
True.
There must be hundreds of Gina Basses all over the country.
They are there.
And we want to replicate them through this
They are
athlete
there.
fund. Focus resources on high potential sports to increase Gambia's prospects at the international level. I know we all love football.
True.
But the reality is, football is not going to bring us gold medal. I'm sorry, my brother.
He knows
But
that.
that's the
He
reality.
knows that. He knows it.
It's not going to bring us gold medal.
I agree.
If you want to bring gold, we have to look at small scale games.
Volleyball is bringing,
Beach
athletics is
volleyball,
bringing, so that's
athletics,
it. Yeah.
you know, wrestling, even wrestling, there's an opportunity for there.
True.
Support associations through partnership with government, and also look at local funding for talent development. The fifth and last priority is the Gambia Beach Games.
Wow.
And the vision statement for that is showcase the Gambia's unique cultural landscape and natural beauty through an annual beach game that would draw global participation and boosting local tourism.
Wow.
The whole idea is to make sure that we have regional tournaments, and the final of those regional tournaments would happen through the Gambia Beach Games, whereby the local talent with tourists and international talent would compete, let's say, between October and November. We have to agree on this thing. Our model is to make sure that the Gambia Hotel Association, the Gambia Tourism Board, Ministry of Tourism would be part of this partnership to make sure that we have these Gambia Beach Games where the local and the tourists and the diaspora can compete in friendly beach games. But it can unleash opportunities for partnership. It could unleash opportunities for friendship, and we think that would really help. Develop and implement a signature beach sports game each year. Engage local communities and businesses in planning process to ensure that economic empowerment happens. I mean, today, if you organize in any games, we only see the athletes.
True.
But there's multiple layers of what we call sports economy that we want to tap into. Who's going to do the jerseys? Who's going to do the benches? Who's going to do this? How many young people are we going to employ to help organize, sell drinks, do all of that? We want to develop what we call sports economy.
Wow.
Launch an extensive global marketing campaign to promote Gambia Beach Games so that Gambia would be seen as destination for sports tourism. And to show you this, we have a strong support of national associations with backing of 6 presidents in our board, strong private sector presence in our team, top leaders in their own rights in terms of people like, well, when I get to my team, I'll give you the background.
That's
Thank you
right.
very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jagana, of course, Team GNOC and Jallow. We've all had their manifestos. Now it's business. Who are your team members and how are you going to deliver these goods? For me, I'm excited about the manifestos. And I look forward to ensuring that they are implemented, even if one of you were to definitely not win. But we want you to join forces, join hands, to move this country forward, to move the sports forward, because the 2 manifestos, honestly, for me, are there for holistic and sustainable development of our sports. So I started with my brother Baidudu before. Let me come to Jagana about his team, and then Baidudu, you will take it up from there. Mr. Jagana, who are your team members who are going to implement this agenda for you and for the NOC as well as National Sports Development?
Thank you, Vicente. Our first vice president is Lamin King Koli. He's a prominent Gambian figure in sports. He served at the National Sports Council. He has been involved in football in Birkama. He has also been involved in handball and also combined sports. We believe that he has the competence to help build our grassroots sports. Because we believe that grassroots sports is what's going to feed in through the other sports. If you don't tap them from the grassroots, you cannot get them to be at the podium to win gold for the Gambia or to represent Gambia. Our second vice president is Mr. Saul Fraser. Everybody knows him as Global Properties. But Saul will be heading our Heritage Gambia program, because Saul will travel and will be selling his properties to the Gambians in the diaspora. Whilst doing that, he'll be representing Team Yokandam and the GNOC to sell our agenda to the Gambian diaspora in terms of sports economy.
That's right.
Because Vicente, we believe that sports diplomacy, sports economy, sports entrepreneurship should be the theme that takes Gambia forward. And we believe that based on Saul's entrepreneurial experience, this would get us there.
That's right.
Our Secretary General, as I mentioned, for the first time in the history of GNOC, will have a woman elected as Secretary General, Fatim Baji. We know her, she's a seasoned public service, she worked in the private sector and has participated in areas of development. She has a very big background in communication and technology. And we believe that with her experience, she would encourage and inspire a lot of young ladies who would sit down and say, wow, if Fatim is there, I want to be there. So the dream of having more women participate in sport is going to be driven by Fatim, who will drive our women, our strength agenda. Mas Manjang, I mentioned earlier, is our treasurer.
That's right.
Mas Manjang is a very young guy. He loves sports. And by the way, people ask me one question: what sports does Fatim play? Fatim plays golf.
Okay.
I mean, golf is an Olympic game.
It is.
And these are some of the things that we have to talk about. Mas Manjang is the CFO of EcoBank. He has a deep experience in finance and he loves sports. So we think that his talent and experience put together would really help Team Yokandam, help national associations, help the GNOC, help national federations in putting together strategic financial proposals. So that when you go out today, you give out a proposal and say, I want to do this.
Yes.
It has to be backed by numbers. Numbers that people know can be delivered. Numbers people can know is factual. Numbers people know that is the reality. That's why we have selected Mas Manjang, who's part of the Gambia softball team, to represent us as treasurer. We have Modun Sompo Sise, is the president of the Gambia Tennis Association. Sorry, table tennis, since there's two tennis, lawn tennis and table tennis. Saul Fraser is the president of the Gambia Lawn Tennis Association, and Sompo Sise is the president of the Gambia Table Tennis Association. Sompo has been instrumental in the growth of sport in the Gambia. He's been very passionate and has over 20 years experience in table tennis. He also has over 20 years experience in managing public sector. He's very focused, very motivated, and really driven. I mean, it's an inspiration to have him on my team. And he's going to head our governance, part of our governance, because ethics is critical in having a successful leadership. And we really want somebody like Sompo to run that. And really, I mean, if you get to know him, he's very quiet, but that man has some sharp brains. We have Timothy Koli. Timothy is the president of the Gambia Judo Association. I mean, he's very good in judo. I've not tested him, but I think I can beat him when between judo and karate. But Timothy is basically heading our mass sports. And you know, mass sports is something that I am very passionate about. You and I know. I am the co-founder of Work for Health.
True.
Today, Work for Health is one of the biggest sports activities in the Gambia.
True.
But you know, people ask me, what sports are you involved in? I don't have to be in the front. I'm very strategic. I have a very good sense of leadership, and I put together teams that can deliver. And that's why we selected some of these men and a lady to deliver to us. We also have Gerard Senghor, president of the Gambia Basketball.
Right.
We know Gerard is the managing director of GFS Business.
Right.
He has a lot of experience in training, developing capacity, and over the last 10 years, he's one of the most respected consultants in HR. Gerard holds an MBA in human resources, and within the capacity building across the GNOC, trickle down to associations and federations is critical. These are the elected members, but we also have 2 nominated members.
Right.
As part of the rules, you can nominate 3. 2 of them have to be women. We have Kumba Jaw, who used to play table tennis and basketball of St. Augustine, St. Joseph's. We also have Rebecca Riley Bensouda, who also represents Special Olympics. That is our team.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jagana. Well, as you said, your team members, some I know personally, some I know from a distance, but at the end of the day, as we say, we just look forward to holistic and sustainable sports development. My brother Baidudu Jallow, let's hear your team members and what they can do to help you actualize the agenda you've outlined for us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vicente. I think, first of all, maybe I need to correct him when he made that statement that we copied his his manifesto. Well, I think he just have 5 pillars, and he should look at the number of pillars that we have.
We tend to focus on efficiency and delivery, so that's why we have 5.
Look, there is you can see the difference when you look at the 2 manifestos. So don't claim any issue of copying or plagiarism.
Whichever way, both manifestos definitely are of interest to all of us and the listeners out there. The implementation is what we look forward to when any one of you is in that office.
Yes, I think Team Baidudu, which is looking at the new direction for the GNOC for 2024-2028. Of course, you have myself as the president of the Gambia Volleyball Federation, as the presidential candidate for this team. And I will tell you before even I go into the team that this team is a team rooted in sports and sports administration.
Right.
And I think that is where we bring the difference, because we have lived the journey, we have lived the story strongly, and we have really toiled all over in terms of sports. And that is why we are where we are today. Right. And some of these people are managing some of the biggest sports in the country successfully, and they are making results and headways. And really, this is why we are very sure that this team is going to be a team that will implement this manifesto successfully and bring significant results and changes into the NOC. Okay. The first vice president of the team is Lamin Kinkoli.
Wow, he seems to be on both sides. Seems as if he's very popular. Is that allowed in your elections, to have somebody in both camps?
Yes, I mean the constitution is saying that national associations just have to nominate.
Okay.
And for him, he is nominated by
your camp and the Jagana's camp.
Yes, exactly.
So when it comes to the day of the election, he will have to determine where he belongs.
Absolutely.
He will stand unopposed.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
He will stand unopposed. Yes.
Yeah. All right, that's good to know.
Lamin Kinkoli is the president of Gambia Handball Association.
Right.
And of course, he's also a seasoned, we know him as a police commissioner, responsible for the whole of traffic.
The only king in town.
Exactly. So, I mean, and he's a person who has been fighting for the changes in the NOC since 2016. He has initiated a fight to bring in changes. And he has been in this fight since 2016 to date. Some of us have even moved from the other side to come to join him in this fight. And he is still seen as the leader of the camp, of Team Baidudu. I am the team leader, but he is the camp leader of this camp. And this is very clear. And this is why even if you look at the nomination, his association, which is Gambia Handball, actually nominated. But he brings in a lot of resources into the team. He brings in experience, and he brings in also, of course, having leadership qualities as well. If you look at his time at Brikama, If you look at least having served as a chairman of the National Sports Council, and now what he is doing with handball, with immediately coming in as president and getting results for handball, I think we continue to respect him, and we think as the first vice president he would do a great job. And the second vice president is Mr. Bakari Jame, who is the first vice president of football of the Gambia Football Federation. Bakari also, I mean, it's a household name in Gambian sports. You know, I mean, how much has he done in his leadership from club level, Real de Banjul, to the national level and even to international level? How much is he doing? We know his experience, we know his level of maturity, and how much he can bring onto the table to help us achieve the ideals of our manifesto. So Bakari, I mean, this is why I was saying these are people rooted in sports. When we call these names, nobody will even ask, I mean, who are these people or what sport are they playing? Okay? And my second vice president is...
Bakari
is the second vice president,
exactly,
and the secretary general of my team Baidudu, is Mr. Yoronjai. Mr. Yoronjai is also the secretary general of the Gambia Swimming Association. And we can see how well swimming is doing in this country. He's representing the country even at the Olympic Games. And Yoro is the director of sports at the University of the Gambia. You know, a very important institution in this country. And he already holds a double master's degree in sports administration. He is like some of those unique people you will find in this country when it comes to academic background in sports administration. So he is the one holding the secretarial position in our camp. And then our treasurer is Baimadi Sise. Baimadi Sise also is the first vice president of Gambia Badminton. Baimadi, you know, was the director of budget of this country for many, many years at the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs. And right now he is the executive secretary of the SOE Commission, which is the State Enterprise. I mean, so professionally, he is really strong. He is so good. He is going to help this team when it comes to issues of marketing, when it comes to issues of supporting national federations with proposals, you know, with how to build partnerships with institutions, you know, and to help us to be financially viable and so on and so forth. So, you know, we have Baimadi in our team, and definitely he's going to add a lot into this team. And I think maybe with Bakari, I've been talking about his sports aspect, but even professionally, he's also a consultant, and you know, he's excellent in strategies and marketing and so on. And you know, you can see how much he's going to bring to our camp. And then we have the board members. We have Ami Jabang. You know, Ami Jabang is really a very strong representation of women in our team. I mean, she's already in a football commission, you know, and she's very active in football, very active also in volleyball, and also in some other associations like Talk of War, and also in the combined services. But he is very, very key as a member of the football fraternity and some of the commissions in football. He plays a very important role, and we are bringing her in because you know, she has lived the sporting dream of this country. She has played sports and she is now administering sports, and you know, this is a very good example to give to women, really, to pick a woman who is administrating sports already to come and join the board of the NOC. And then we have another, the other two elected board members is Mr. Abdullah Ka, who is the technical director at the Gambia Athletics Association. I mean, a very big sports in this country, a sports that have been successful, and we know the potential in that sports. And so people who administer in that sports are people who have grounded, and people who can come into the NOC and give us results. But Professor Ablai, I mean, Ablai is someone that has served in all the various stages of sports in this country, from being a regional coordinator to being the director of youth and sports, and so on and so forth, and then climbing the ladder to being a deputy permanent secretary, and even recently serving as a governor, of URR. So Ablai has huge experiences. I mean, and is rooted in sports. I mean, he's rooted in sports, and I can see his passion. Even when he comes to follow my sports when I have my activities. And then Bakeba Suso is the president of the Gambia Taekwondo Association, and he is also a member of our board. And Bakeba also is a seasoned police officer, and he is very, very experienced and have done a lot in sports administration. So you can see the team that we have is a team that have lived the sporting experience of this country. Right. And they also have the background in terms of professionalism and in terms of the passion for sports. And this is the kind of people that we believe can come and move our sports to another level. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I can see really from what you all have more or less given to us here, the two teams are not lacking in one, depth and breadth of knowledge, two in strategy, three in experience. The rest now is implementation when any one of you is in that office. And what we look forward to is to ensure that both of you work together regardless of which of the camps actually ends up replacing Beatrice, because one of the biggest challenges in the Gambia is not only governance, but having our people in sports divided. Not only disputes, but bringing the sport into disrepute. So we'll just give you people maybe, your final words tonight. Not your final words, because we still need you around, so that we allow maybe Serekunda East and others to come on board. So Mr. Baidudu, let me hear what you have to share with the public. All you need to tell them now against the elections and beyond.
Yeah, really for me, people know how much I have been involved in sports. I think for me, sports is from the grassroots, from village level, in my Kermama, to the national, and now even to the international level. I have had huge experiences with volleyball, from where I was able to found volleyball, and how much I have moved the sport at the national level and now at the international level.
Right.
And I think the people that I have around me also have so much and have done so much for sports. So I will urge the national federations, this country, to look at these two teams and make their judgments with respect to who is the best team. But really, I think we will just assure them that we are going to bring difference into this National Olympic Committee. We will definitely unite the national federations to work towards one direction. This is something I have achieved in volleyball. I mean, it's a sport that where we have built a strong team, but we have built unity among all the actors and players of the sports. And this is the same spirit that we will bring to the NOC, so that the national federations start to see each other as partners and support each other and support the ideals of the National Olympic Committee. This is going to be our stand, and our agenda, our manifesto is our contract with these national federations. Wow. We have the team to implement the agenda and the manifesto, and we will ensure that this manifesto is implemented. And by the end of the quadrennial, we would come back and tell them this is what we said we will be doing, and this is exactly what we have done. Even if we have failed in one or two, we would make that very, very clear. We will bring transparency into the NOC and improve the governance aspect of the NOC. We know how much there is a lot that people don't even know about the NOC, but we will try to be very, very transparent when we come to power and when we are in that office. And let me just assure them once again that on Saturday, let them not make a mistake, because I mean, the not choosing Team Baidudu is maintaining the status quo. But if you choose Team Baidudu, you are ushering in a new direction for the National Olympic Committee.
Well,
thank you.
You've said all. Transparency is one of those things I will take home.
Yeah.
Normally, when people need votes, they come to West Coast.
Yes.
The moment they're in office, they forget about West Coast. So I'll take note of that. My brother from another mother, take note of this, please, from Team Baidudu, depending on the outcome of the elections. Number one, they'll be transparent. So it means anytime we call him, he will be here to tell us whatever is happening at the NOC. Number two, that his agenda is a contract with the athletes and the Gambians. Number three, he is ready to bring a difference at the NOC and also unite the people in sports. So, Baidudu, you're on record.
Sure.
I will definitely go after you should you be in that office.
Sure.
I move to my boss. Once a boss, always a boss. My brother is here, my boss is there, so I'm conflicted, but I hope I'm doing my job properly. Mr. Jagana, over to you, sir.
You're doing very well, Vicente. Thank you very much. You know, today we have to wake up and realize that when we went to St. Augustine's, I mean, sports then and sports now is different. I went to St. Augustine's. I played basketball, I played volleyball, I played handball. I did it. I enjoyed it.
True.
Today, sports is a global economy. It's a huge economy. It's one of the biggest economies in the world. And our team has the experience to be global leaders in bringing international level, global economy of sports to the Gambia, bringing sports diplomacy to the Gambia, bringing sports education to the Gambia. I have been involved in sports for a long time. And personally, from my business standpoint, I've invested in sports.
True.
Paco of Bakau Nawetan, some 20 years ago, we have been financing and sponsoring Bakau Nawetan. I still have the t-shirt, Bakau Zonal Sports. I wear it when I go for my daily walks. I think there was one day we met on Atlantic Road. I was wearing the t-shirt. I have the picture.
True.
I have sponsored personally through Jabi of Burfoot, Max Jallow and Burfoot Marathon. And the first time I went to sit with them and they told me what they were doing. I said, definitely, how come government is not pushing you? Because they were engaging kids to adults in that Burfoot Marathon, in every discipline. And I think this really shows that we, as leaders of sports, need to have a very diverse level. When I got involved with GNOC, I got involved through Beatrice Allen. Beatrice is one of the women that should be celebrated here. Baidudu have mentioned about their focus on women, but they have no woman in their executive. We have a woman as secretary.
We do have.
No. The executive. No, Baidudu.
We do have a woman in our executive board.
But with all due respect, when you were speaking, I didn't interrupt.
Yeah.
The executive is the president, the first vice, the second vice, the secretary general, and the treasurer.
That's the management. That's the management.
That's the executive
But
management.
the executive board is the elected board is the executive board.
All right.
Please.
Okay.
So they didn't go there.
What Beatrice has done for this country, we should really appreciate it. Baidudu owes an apology to the sporting fraternity. He and his team were playing politics by frustrating the AGM to the point that Jibril Chow, 70-kilo wrestler, I watched him in Tunis win an Africa Gold Championship. He could not qualify to go to the gold medal because they were frustrating the process of approving the budget and the AGM for their own political motive.
I don't think that's true.
not the leadership we
that's
want
really not true.
at the GNOC. The facts are there.
Okay.
I mean,
This thing
what
has
caused the failure of
this
the
thing has
AGM?
cost the Gambia
I think the responsibility
athletes
is the board.
over $1 million. $1 million is that volleyball
That's really not true.
is
Okay.
we should have benefited from that. And I, as treasurer, I feel deeply disappointed that I have to send that $1 million back to the Olympic solidarity when it could have been used for athletes like wrestling, Chow, to go to the Olympics, when it could have been used for athletes like him in volleyball to participate in the Olympics. Unfortunately, this is the kind of leadership that has failed Gambia. And we want a new, dynamic leadership that is business focused, that is global thinking and grassroots thinking, and that is what we're delivering. Thank you.
Anyway, we'll come to the issue of the AGM that was failed twice, another time, hopefully. And we bring an end to this insightful and honestly engaging, would I say, manifesto display or display of manifesto out here in West Coast Radio. I want to thank Mr. Baidudu Jallow of Team Baidudu, of course, and Mr. Jagana of Team York and Dam. My brother from another mother.
Just one. Good good evening, listeners. I was listening keenly to the two presidential aspirants, and time is of the essence here. I wanted to ask questions, but we don't have time. After one
Next
of them
Monday.
won, after their victory, we will invite them here.
Yes, and
then we will take it off from there.
Thank you,
I
sir.
wish the two candidates best of luck.
That's
Whoever
right.
wins is for the benefit of the Gambia and the GNOC. So I wish them all best of luck.
That's it. Thank you very much, my brother from another mother.
Come and join me in terms of building sport for the Gambia after Saturday.